But we had to go build these winter shelters and sleep in the snow. It was around minus 30. We had to load that bus at like 5 in the morning, I believe. It was really early. Know that challenge makes you better, and you can take that discipline, that action of that challenge, and then put it forward to a new challenge. Find something else to explore. Divide it into thirds. It could be super easy, it could be somewhere in the middle, or it could be extremely challenging and just suck. If life gets too easy, all these opportunities that you guys can go out and seek won't be of access to you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Northern Strength Fitness Podcast show. My name is Brandon. I am your host. This is episode number 3. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't checked out our first 2 episodes, feel free to go do that. Today's episode, we're going to dive in a little deeper, even more into some of the topics that I was really excited about. Today's topic is on how challenge equals change, and how if you go into a challenge a certain way, do the challenge a certain way, and then reflect on the challenge a certain way, will determine whether that is a positive change or a negative change, or even if there is no change at all, okay? True challenge, I think, comes when you can reflect on it and say, okay, that was difficult, that's a challenge, it wasn't easy for me, and either you come out a winner or a loser, and with the right mindset, I think you can come out with a winner. You can always find a positive, at least I hope you can, throughout life, and that's the way that I've chosen to live my life. And I'm going to give you guys some reasons why I hope you guys choose to do that too. One of the things that is common in this podcast is you can choose to go through life or to grow through life. I am choosing to grow. I look at challenges as a growing opportunity. I hope you guys will too. We're going to have challenges in life no matter what. So whatever those challenges are, it's going to be with the right attitude, with the right experience, with the right mindset that they can be used to grow. So let's go into it. We are a gym fitness channel, but I'm going to use fitness as a medium for that. So you guys can say, hey, you know what? If I can do this in the gym, if I can challenge myself in a fit, healthy, active lifestyle, I can take those lessons, apply them elsewhere, no matter where you are, no matter what size of community you're in, no matter where your roots are, like I kind of say, where you still have opportunities to grow. So speaking of roots and opportunities and lifestyles, this is a story about some challenge that I went through that I've used to change my outlook on life. And I've actually even used it when I used to be a teacher. And it was a winter camping trip that we had gone on in university. So this is back quite a while ago. Shout out to anyone who went on this winter camping with me back in my University of Regina days. But it was a winter camping trip. It was in our 3rd year. I was trained to become a teacher, and part of my phys ed major was to be an outdoor enthusiast. I loved it because when I grew up, I spent a lot of time outdoors with my family, with my friends, just exploring on my own. So when I came to this outdoor classes at university, I had a lot of prior knowledge to that, thanks to my roots. Going into this winter camping trip was something somewhat new because we had to actually sleep outside and camp outside in the snow in the winter. Crazy part was we had this trip planned, and it happened to be on average one of the coldest, if not the coldest, weeks on average throughout that entire year. So when we were getting ready for this, we had some a couple months prep time. So preparation in the challenges is big, by the way. The more prepared you are, the better. But when we were preparing for this, luckily we were well prepared. So that way, when it hit that minus 30, we had to get out there. It was like minus 30 on our way out to this location outside of the city. Basically, there's this little log cabin was going to be home base. But we had to go build these winter shelters and sleep in the snow. It was around minus 30. We had to load that bus at like 5 in the morning, I believe. It was really early. I'm sure the bus driver didn't like it. We were huddled up trying to stay warm in this not super well heated school bus, but we had all of our stuff packed in there. Drove out to this thing. We snowshoed out to where we wanted to build our shelters. We were put into groups. Our shelters were called a quinzhee, which you pile up snow basically, and then you let it sinter or harden. You hollow out that snow. You use body heat. So we had groups of 4 to 3 roughly. You use your body heat to go in there. You close the door up. You sleep the night. We went and did a bunch of different activities throughout the week. It was a challenge because if you weren't prepared or if you had the wrong mindset, that could have easily broke you. Luckily, we had like-minded, motivated people around us. We were ready for it. And then knowing that, hey, it was like I said, minus 30, minus 40 with some of that wind. Knowing that you can go through something like that and learn from it, have some fun, make some memories. I still really remember it. The looking out at the stars late at night, we did like a little astronomy kind of night gazing activities. We had some games to play, some sardines where you go and hide in the dark. It was a super fun experience. We had lots of good times around the campfire. The challenge was definitely going out in the cold, sleeping out there in the cold, but we did it. We learned from it. And then I used that experience throughout my life to say, hey, you know what? If I can do that, why can't I do other things? If I can prepare, if I had the right mindset, the right community, the right attitude, even if it did suck to get out of that Quincy in the morning because we knew the Quincy was nice and warm. It was actually the warmer part, but we knew outside was going to be minus 30. It's like, well, we're in this. We got to get out there anyway. We might as well make the best of it. We got out, saw our friends around, made the most of each day. And that's kind of the way that I want you guys to look at challenges. Be prepared, go in there, try to find support in those challenges, try to reflect upon them, try to use them later on in life to grow. I even made students do this later on when I was a teacher. The ones that succeeded were the ones that usually came in there with that right attitude, had that good support system, were well prepared, and then didn't let their mentality, their mind defeat them too soon. Okay, so there was definitely some kids that when we got to the winter camping trip that were neither prepared or mentally, they just couldn't handle the challenge mentally during that sleep or mentally to be prepared. Some of them just thought they were too macho and didn't have to think too much into it. And then they ended up wimping out halfway through the night and going up to the warm-up shack. But those are the kind of opportunities in life that you guys can grow from. So let's dial this back, though, into fitness and how you can kind of have like 3 different like levels, I guess you can call it, of how you can go through a gym range, but also then apply that into life as well. So in the gym, or fitness in general, you can have sort of a growth, right? So you can challenge yourself appropriately to grow. You can challenge yourself appropriately just to kind of maintain. Or if you happen to not challenge yourself at all or do like the wrong type of challenge, you're not really ready for it, you can actually reverse your progress. So in the gym, if you want to make progress, you got to actively find stimulus. If you're in a gym and you're a veteran of this, you know this already. If you're brand new to the working out world, here's some helpful tips for you. But you have to stimulate your body well enough to know that your body's like, okay, that was a challenge. I'm going to grow back faster, stronger, better. It might be repetitions, let's say on a bench press. If you can grab the bar and you bench it, and then you get to like your 7th or 8th rep, and then you re-rack it, and it was really easy, your body is not challenged enough to stimulate itself for growth, for strength, for hypertrophy, which is size. Same thing with running, right? So if you can jog for 10 minutes and you hardly break a sweat, your heart rate hardly goes up, you're not going to get in much better shape. You're not going to be able to increase your stamina. Your body won't pull from fat if you don't go for a long enough run, right? So if you aren't challenging yourself appropriately in the gym, you're not going to see the changes that you want. If you're not sure how to challenge yourself appropriately in the gym, there's a lot of research out there on different ways to train. It's one of the things that we do. We help people understand how to train, how to set an appropriate goal, how to hit that right amount of suck, because it is supposed to suck a little bit. But that's how your body's going to say, hey, I'm going to take that suck and I'm going to grow from that. Another one would be stretching. So if you want to work on your flexibility or mobility, you got to actively look for positions, holds that are going to want to stimulate your muscle. Like, oh, this is the beyond ow, or not ow, but beyond like a wow phase. Not quite an ow is kind of like the little saying, but that's how you're going to improve your flexibility, okay? And you even have to sustain that level of suck for a certain amount of time. So that's why lots of exercise will have sets and reps. It'll be for you to determine whether or not that is going to stimulate the change that you wish or not. You can reflect on that. But if you're going in there and the workout's really easy, then it's probably going to get the change to grow. Now, there is that maintenance level I talked about. Life, you can also have a maintenance level in life. With training, once you grow to a certain point, if you want to maintain, it's actually somewhat easier. It's more about routine and discipline to get into that maintenance level. But once you have an area, you don't necessarily have to go crazy hard, but you're just going to sit there complacent and continue your training with that. So there's what they call maintenance level training, where people hit a plateau. That's another thing in the gym. And then, like I said, the reverse is where you are either not training at all, or you've done something that you weren't quite ready for, or you didn't fully understand, and then you end up injuring yourself or overtraining to the point of this is harmful versus this is helpful. So, for example, it could be like if we were to go, hey, let's go camping, but let's just not pack anything, and it's going to be minus 30. I'm going to go out there in t-shirt and shorts, and let's just try to build a Quincy in minus 30 weather with our hands. Not the smartest way to go do that. So same thing in the gym. You don't want to just go and start trying to bench press 215 pounds because your buddies are doing it, and you want to try to show them how strong you are, and all of a sudden you rip your shoulder because you haven't warmed up properly, you haven't bench pressed in a long time. You get into more of a, I want to do this for my ego versus I want to look at it in a long-term thing. So some of that stuff, unfortunately, happens in the gym or even in life too, right? Think about how many people make silly mistakes like drinking, for example, way too much just to impress someone or to do something when they could have easily just dialed it back, or maybe not have drank at all, but how they can go to too much of an extreme for not very much gain. Okay, so it's about finding balance. So yeah, that's challenge and change. A good example for life would be for you to go and seek these challenges, not just in the gym, but the gym's going to help you with that. But think about like for those that are, sorry if you're not a gamer, but for those that are video game people, you understand this. For those that aren't video game people, bear with me here. I'll use a video game for an example, but if you've ever done like a story mode style video game, my favorite game growing up, for example, was Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, if you guys ever did Final Fantasy VII, I actually really want to play the remake, but video games take up a lot of time, and I'm just not choosing to do that right now. But there's a remake of Final Fantasy VII, nerding out a little bit, but it was my favorite one. You had these characters. And there's a big bad guy, right? So most video games, and even a movie goes with the same storyline. So if you want to be like a movie character instead of but your character starts out, right? There's going to be challenge, the big bad guy at the end. Along that video game, you have to go actively level up your character, look for challenges. You even have certain cases where you're going to lose. I remember in that video game, the main bad guy basically just destroys you and runs away. You don't even have a chance against him at the start. Now, rather than giving up on that, the point of the video game is to be the best, most awesome character and win the game. Life is like a game, right? So you take your little character, you go on these fights, you go explore, you grab new items, you learn different things. Just like in life, you go and you acquire different things throughout life. You put yourself through education, you put yourself through life experiences, you level up that character to eventually where the point where at the end of the game, you can take on the bad guy, kick his butt, use your Omni Slash in the video game. You guys, again, if you guys know what I'm talking about, awesome. But that's the same in life, right? So if you're not actively going out and seeking those opportunities, those challenges to level yourself up, you might just stay at that maintenance level, right? You might end up just quitting the game depending on if you don't understand what's going on. And I don't want you guys to quit in life. I want you guys to thrive in life. I want you guys to grow through life. So finding those challenges are important. So challenges that we do at Northern Strength Fitness right now, for example, is our Fit League. We got our Fit League going on right now. We have we just finished up our first 2 weeks of challenges. We had a deadlift burpee one, which less people tried because it's a little more challenging. And the 2,000 meter row, a little bit less challenging. Most people can sit there and row deadlifts and burpees. People are like, but both challenges, both a good opportunity for you to do something that might suck a little bit, but then to reflect upon and grow from. So, for example, the 2,000 meter row, prior to the pandemic, I was doing really well with it. I was challenging myself in the gym to it. And my 2,000 meter row, I think my best was 7 minutes, 28 seconds, and I had a goal of 7:20. Last year, I hit 7:36 in the Fit League. So that was my best last year, was 7 minutes, 36 minutes to get a 2,000 meter row. If you guys are watching on YouTube or something, comment what your best row is. But this year, my first row attempt, I actually had worse than last year. I was like, oh man, I could do better than that. I just need a strategize. So I did a little bit of learning, did a little bit of prep for it mentally, and I even had a rowing buddy to do it with the second time, which definitely helped. But the challenge was to then beat another person in the gym, but also to beat my old score. So I really wanted to beat that 736. That was my number one challenge. It was going to suck because those rows, you push yourself to pretty much full fatigue to get your best score. So I started my 2,000 meter row. I had a strategy going into it, planned for it. And then at the end of it, boom, I beat my old score from last year, but I also even tied my best from almost 3 years ago. So that was a pretty cool opportunity for me. And if I just would have gave up, I wouldn't have had that. So I challenge you guys to try a 2,000 meter row, to look at deadlifts and burpees, practice burpees at home, practice push-ups, practice planks, find something that you can challenge yourselves, build that confidence, know that challenge makes you better, and you can take that discipline, that action of that challenge, and then put it forward to a new challenge. Find something else to explore. Look for that job opportunity, create your future as you see it, right? Rather than letting life just go by. Look for better relationships. Try to improve your current relationships. Those are those kind of challenges that aren't easy for everybody, and lots of people just avoid that, which is why we probably have one of the most, a shot at North America. I love it here, but I also a shot at North America. Why we have some of the most obese people in the world. Why we have one of the highest heart disease, morbidity, where people die. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Where heart diseases kill people. We also have a very high mental health issue here, where there's lots of mental health issues, lots of tragic stuff you guys hear around. I think that partially has to do with people not necessarily being used to things that suck, and when things suck, they go down the easy path versus trying to actively conquer that suck. So that way, when life comes and throws something at you, you're a lot more prepared for it, because you just never know what kind of challenges are going to get thrown at you physically, for example. I think last episode I talked about zombies coming at you as an example, but mentally as well. And the more you put yourself through challenges, the more you go in there with that, I'm going to look for these challenges. Life will sometimes give you its challenges just naturally, which then you can go into, right? And hopefully come out victorious. But you're also going to want to actively seek out challenges. So we got some people, for example, that are in a nutrition challenge right now at the gym. And they go into a situation where they know that they're going to be tempted by food and drinks, right? So how do you go into that knowing it's going to be a challenge, but how do you come out of that successful? I currently right now am in a no drinking till my birthday challenge for myself. So I don't mean drinking water, alcohol. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wean myself off of some alcohol for a bit, just for a nice little mental challenge. I like these little challenges for myself because they reaffirm my ability to push through, to conquer, to reflect, and then to use that mental ability to then apply it to something else in life. So whether that be waking up at 6 a.m. to teach these fitness classes, or getting things ready for the summertime and having my Northerner race, for example. Okay, so all those things are going to help me be more prepared for when things happen. Okay, I hope you guys are kind of understand what I'm getting at. Speaking of Northern race, let's talk about that really quick. So if you guys are looking for another challenge, it might be like a running challenge. So the cool thing with my Northerner race is it's got a nice mix of challenge. You might not think that you can do it, but I am going to challenge you to say that yes, you can. I say you can walk, run, or jog this thing. It's approximately 5 kilometers with obstacles, which again, if you're not feeling safe with the obstacles, you can actually skip them by doing some jumping jacks or burpees. But it's a race that you can walk, run, or jog. It's more about the fact that you're getting out there, proving yourself that you can do it. The challenge might be maybe it's a longer race than you've ever done before. We've got lots of stuff that you can do built up for that. Maybe that day it's going to rain and you're going to sit there and be like, oh, I don't really want to do this. It's raining. The challenge is whether it's rain, sunshine, windy, not windy, we're going to go through that challenge together, so that way we can reflect on it and be like, hey, I'm glad I did this. So that race is happening. We'll have a program ready for you guys. If you're not sure how to prepare, like I said, prepare is a good thing. Put yourself around like-minded individuals. So grab some friends, grab some family that want to go through these challenges, come to the race, conquer it, right? And then be proud that you guys did that. One of my shining moments when I posted about the race again this year at the start of the year was there were some people that were from out of town. I don't want to say names or anything, but they're from out of town, and they had shared the Facebook post. And I could see the comments that were going on, and they're like, what is this? What is this? Their friends were saying. And the person that commented, oh, this was a race we did last summer. It was one of the best things we got to do. Really awesome thing for me to hear. And awesome they were excited to do it again and that they wanted to share it. Sort of curiosity, I went to go see how these individuals placed in the race, and they were near the very back in the standings, but doesn't mean that they didn't have a good time, right? You don't have to necessarily be the best in order to enjoy, grow, and have those successes in life. So lots of times people will be so scared, and that's where that anxiety comes in, right? So scared of what others are going to think about them, how they're going to do, how others will. I was really proud of everyone who went through the race, who finished the race, all those kind of, and even people that walk into the gym, right? We're more proud about you showing up, and you're more welcomed in that environment and to seek challenge with those around you. So that's definitely one of those things you guys want to look for. If life were like too easy for you, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. Okay. So if life gets too easy, all these opportunities that you guys can go out and seek won't be of access to you. And that's the way that you guys go through challenges too. So there was this quote that I heard, or like this other, not necessarily a quote, but this little bit of a story about an Olympian who was struggling, but found out that that's good. So it was the rule of thirds, they called it. And it was life can be divided into thirds. It could be super easy, it could be somewhere in the middle, or it could be extremely challenging and just suck. When you're looking for opportunities to grow and to do your best, you kind of want a little bit of all three. It's supposed to be easy and fun and enjoyable. Life should be all those things, right? If not, then you're into some trouble. You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to have a bad experience. It should somewhere be in the middle, right? So, hey, this is kind of good. It's kind of bad. Awesome. Find those opportunities. But in order for you to grow, you also need to find those opportunities for it to really suck. And you're going to be pushing yourself to new extremes. And that's what this Olympic athlete's coach told her. And she realized, oh, okay, I was having a really bad day. I couldn't hit these skills. But that's how you're going to grow. You got to find that area of suck. And that's any kind of skill practice, whether it be a hockey shot, a backflip, a nutrition, new lifestyle. If it's too easy for you, you probably won't have enough stimulus to grow, which goes back to that whole gym theory that we had before. So you want to have a nice balance of that. Dialing it back to like another story that I had back in university. This was kind of cool. One of my professors was talking about how feedback can help you grow or achieve things in life, and depending on the type of feedback you get, the quality, and who you surround yourself with, what you want to do with people around you. But it's a cool little thing. So we took, I think there was three people we took out of this classroom. We put them in the classroom, not telling them what they had to do or anything. They just said, hey, we need 3 volunteers, go outside the classroom. All right, then he closed the door and told us our job as a class of about like 40 or 50 in this little auditorium were to get these people to pick up this crumpled up ball of paper. So he crumpled up a ball of paper, threw it randomly on the floor somewhere, and he said, for the first person, you're only allowed to give them negative feedback, okay, towards their goals. So the only thing you can do is basically boo, shout at them when they're doing the wrong thing. So first person comes in, and they just stand there blindfolded. They have no idea what they're supposed to do. So we boo whenever they stop moving, and then they're like, what? So they started moving, and we just went quiet, right? Because, hey, they were doing the right thing. We weren't allowed to applaud for them. They were moving slightly. But as soon as they went the wrong way, boo, right? Eventually, they got so frustrated that they just gave up after a few minutes for us. Like, okay, well, here's what you were supposed to do. Oh, okay. The next person comes in. Same thing. We got them. But this time it was positive, positive feedback the whole time. And that person's slowly, we would clap. Yeah, slowly they would get a little bit closer. Didn't quite get there. But they stayed with it. They were enjoying it more, but they didn't quite get to it either. It was a third person we were allowed to both go clap boo, yay, the whole time that they were able to finally get the closest to the ball, and eventually they couldn't quite pick it up, but they got the closest to the ball that out of the other one and super quickly to it. So it's finding that nice balance between the suck and the good and in the middle. So if we were to, and a guy, our professor kind of, if we were to now translate that feedback, but then also tell them what they were supposed to do, you could see how easy that it was going to be. Actually, now that I think about it, we might have even had a fourth person out there where we told them as they were blindfolded, that they were supposed to pick up this ball. We're only going to give you positive feedback to it. They found it like that. So that's just the power of feedback, putting yourself through positive change, positive challenges as well, though. Even if it is going to suck, you got to look for that criticism in your own life. You can use those lifestyles to both be in the gym, so find the right amount of stimulus, research, do those things that grow, actively seek out those opportunities to look for challenges. They're going to equal change, but that change can then either be a good where you're going to want to grow with it. It could be a negative where it's the wrong amount of challenge at the wrong time with the wrong mindset. But I'm hoping you guys are on the positive with it. So to recap, guys, challenge yourselves. Try out this race. Try out some other challenges in life, whether that be in the fitness world, the nutrition world, or outside of that. I think it's a great way to go through life because that's the way you're going to grow through life. Thanks for watching this episode. Looking forward to some more. Be sure to share it. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. All the feedback is great. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.